Do you feel like a lack of consistency is holding you back and getting you to break 90? Hi everybody, Darren Falk here with Break 90 Golf, and today we're going to be talking about that word consistency. It's one of the most common things I hear on the lesson tee is, I just want to be more consistent. Today we're going to actually debunk that myth a little bit, and you actually don't want to be more consistent, you want to be better. And this little jar of marbles right here might just be the thing that completely changes your mental game and gets you to shoot better scores. So stick around and let's get to it. If only I was more consistent. It's what I hear almost every single day on the lesson tee. If I just didn't hit this shot, if I just didn't hit that shot, I'm just looking to be more consistent. Well, bad news, unfortunately, consistency does not exist in golf. You will never be a consistent golfer. But we really don't want to be a consistent golfer. So first thing we're going to talk about is, what does golf really look like? So this concept here was shown to me by a really smart gentleman, Dr. Rick Jensen. If you haven't read his book already, I highly recommend it, and you'll find the link to that in the description below. So this chart right here represents every round of golf you will ever play for the rest of your life. It also might represent a bucket of golf balls on the range. All right? So there are 100 marbles in this jar. 25 of those marbles are green, and those represent a good shot. Whatever you, myself, and Scotty Scheffler here considers to be a good shot, because it's all relative. There are 50 white marbles. Those represent an average or an okay shot. And unfortunately, yes, there are 25 black marbles, and those represent a bad shot. Whatever you, me, and Scotty Scheffler here considers to be a bad shot. Because Scotty Scheffler still hits bad golf shots. The difference is, I would love to hit the ball as badly as he does. He can hit the ball 320 yards right down the middle of the fairway. But just because someone is capable of hitting that shot doesn't mean they do it every time. And all you have to do is watch any round of golf and watch any golf professional. These are gentlemen that play golf for a long time. They play at a very high level. They're practicing every day, and yet they still can't hit the ball as well as they're capable of doing every single time. So when you step up to a golf ball, you are literally every single time shaking up the marbles, and one is coming out at random. All right, so we got two whites to start. Oh, there's the black marble. Okay, haven't really hit a good shot yet. Just okay. Still just okay. There's a good one. Okay, so this right here is golf, and it will never ever change, unfortunately. You're going to have a mixture in nearly every round of black marbles, green marbles, and white marbles. There are going to be days where you have more green than black. We like those days. Unfortunately, there's going to be days where you have more black than green. It's going to happen. It might happen from front nine to back nine. It might happen from hole to hole. It might happen a couple months apart. You might have a good stretch of a couple rounds, followed by some really terrible rounds. There's no rhyme or reason. Unfortunately, that is just the way golf is and always will be. So what most golfers are hoping for and want is, they want to take away the bad golf shots, and it's never going to happen. They think better golf comes in being consistent is by not hitting bad shots anymore. And unfortunately, that's never going to be the case. So what we can strive for is, and what we should be striving for, is improvement. Our goal at the end of the day is to, over the course of time, is to make your black marbles better than they used to be. Making your white marble better than it used to be. And making your green marble better than it used to be. This is why tour pros are better than us, or any golfer is better than us, depending on where we're at, is that our bad shots are worse than their bad shots. Our average shots are worse than their average shots, and our good shots are worse than our average shots. So again, it's not about taking away and not hitting bad golf shots. It's simply the fact is, let's say your black marble right now goes 100 yards with the driver and goes into the right trees. Improvement would be this black marble going 120 yards and maybe finishing in the right rough. It still might not be a good shot, but it is a far less bad shot than what it used to be. And that needs to be our goal, not consistency, because it's just never going to happen. We need to be looking for improvement, making these better than they used to be, making this better than it used to be, and making this one better than it used to be. Okay, so we're going to dive a little bit more into this concept of trying to be more consistent. And the first thing we talked about here is this jar of marbles here. So every time you step up to a golf ball, one of these marbles is going to be coming out at random. And at the end of the day, we really don't know which one it's going to be. We just don't. It doesn't matter if it's the 18th hole, doesn't matter if it's the first hole, doesn't matter. It's random. The only thing that we can do is develop our skill set to where we can make each one of these as good as they possibly are. But if we are striving for consistency and to be a consistent golfer, we are setting ourselves up for a lot of disappointment. So while these might be individual shots in a round of golf, we can also look at this as individual rounds for a given year. So for someone that is trying to break 90, it might end up looking something like this. Here are your average days right here, somewhere hovering right around that 90 score. So these are all the scores, and this would be the number of times we would shoot this score during the year. Now, if you track your scores like this, nearly everyone is going to have something that looks along these lines, right? This little bell curve shape. Majority of your shots, majority of your rounds, half your rounds are going to hover somewhere in here. So for this golfer here, between 90 and 95, that's where most of their scores are going to fall. But what we are going to see is on some good days, when things are going well, we're getting more green marbles, whatever the story might be, we're going to have some rounds where we have a chance of breaking 90. That's based upon what our skill set is capable of. But here's where people go wrong is they think if I shot 87 once, then I should be able to do that every single time. And that's just not going to happen. And that's where we fall into frustration. If my skill set is capable of shooting scores on a good day over here in this 87, 88 range, unfortunately, on bad days, I should be expecting to shoot scores in the upper 90s. This difference here between 85 and 100 in a given year is pretty average and pretty normal across the board for every level of golfer. Even the PGA Tour pros, we look in a minute, have that same general dispersion. They're going to have a 10 to 15 shot, probably closer to 15 in a given year. So this is normal. So as we look at a tour pro, again, it's the same idea. Most of their scores, their scoring average is going to be somewhere between 69 and 70. Most of their scores are going to fall in that 67 to 71 range, right? Just a little bit under par, depending on the golf course they're playing. They're going to have outlier days where things are going well, they get good breaks, they make a lot of putts, and they're going to have some scores where they get to 62, 63, 64, 65. However, what we don't see, because when we watch golf on TV, we are watching a highlight reel. They are going to have rounds of golf that are over par. They're going to. No questions asked. Never in the history of the PGA Tour has the cut line been 5 under par or whatever it is because every single golfer played really well that day or that week. It doesn't happen. Half the players are going to shoot well and find themselves over here. Half the pros are going to shoot poorly and find themselves somewhere over in here. At the end of the day, we really can't predict when we're going to get these. We're going to have days where they shoot bad scores and they miss the cut. They're going to have days and weeks where they have some good scores and all of a sudden they find themselves with a chance to win on Sunday. So this is normal. So what does improvement really look like? Again, we look at those scores spread out through the year. Here's our average, would be somewhere in this 92, 93 range. What people think improvement looks like is never shooting a score above 90 again, and that's not going to happen. What we need to be doing and what we should be striving for is simply moving this curve further down to the left. So improvement's going to look something like this. Our scoring average got down to 87, 88. 5-shot improvement, that would be phenomenal for most golfers in a given year. That would be excellent. But what happens, we're going to have some scores now where we get really low in the 80s. But yes, we are still going to have some days when we don't have our best game or the weather is bad, windy days, you name it. There's so many variables to golf. We are still going to have rounds where we shoot above 90. And if we overlay those over each other, this is improvement. This golfer here averaging 92 and this golfer here averaging 87. So this is the better golfer over here. But what you notice when these overlap, yes, there are going to be days where this golfer, the blue line, is going to beat the orange because they're going to overlap a little bit. So improvement doesn't come from not shooting bad scores. Improvement comes from making all of our rounds a little bit better. It comes from shifting this curve to the left on this line here and getting our scoring average a little bit lower. But we have to expect we are going to still have some high rounds. So what does improvement look like? It's going to look like a stock chart at the end of the day. So just for number sake, let's say this is a 90 golfer right here, right? So this would be at 100, this would be a 98, right? Back to 100 again, whatever it might be. And then we've got some scores where we're doing really well. But just because we're up here one day doesn't mean we're not going to be down here the next day. It is not going to be a straight line of improvement. It is going to have ups and downs, ebbs and flows. But this chart right here, if this was your stock, you'd be pretty happy. If it started the year here and ended the year up here, that would be nice. But just because it ended here doesn't mean it was always on a progressive rise. So we look at that. This is what improvement looks like. It's this trend. Where is our game trending to? Just because I have a score down here doesn't mean I'm still not trending towards improvement and in the right direction. Now, why is this so important to understand? And the reason is because what happens is takes one or two bad shots, one or two bad rounds, and we just go into the ultimate despair and funk. We start looking for answers. But when we go out on the golf course expecting that we're going to shoot a certain score, our tension level rises through the roof. And the odds of us hitting good shots and actually playing well completely goes down. So we have to go out there, as hard as it is to do and easy as to say. I play golf too, so I know exactly what it's like. We have to go out there with very, very little expectations. Yes, we're going to hit some good shots, we hope, but we also need to know that we're going to hit some bad shots. When we can come to terms with that and when we can accept our bad shots, that's going to just increase the chances that my next shot is going to be a white or green marble. But if I find myself getting upset over a white marble because I expect to hit the ball well every time, our odds are going to be really, really high that we start dropping some black marbles out there because our body language is going to be terrible, our mood's going to be terrible, and we're trying to force these good shots from happening. And that is something we just cannot do. Thank you everybody for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you have not already done so, please be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the channel. That will help me to continue to put out content for everybody. If you would like to work with me, you may do so two different ways. One would be in person at Holly Ridge Golf Club on Cape Cod. And if you live far away or prefer, we can do it online as well via the Skillest app. And you'll see links to both of those options in the description below. If you found this video helpful, and I'd like to go ahead and hear how this maybe jar of marble concept here maybe changed your game a little bit and allowed you to be a little bit more understanding of your highs and lows in golf. And if there's anything you would like to see, please make sure to mention it in the comments below, and I look forward to continue helping you to break 90. Thanks so much, and we'll see you again next time.